Welcome to Totally Talent Podcast by HR.com, your go-to source for all things talent. Whether you're looking for expert insights on high-volume hiring, the latest trends in recruitment technology, or strategies for building a winning team, we've got you covered. Join us for each episode as we dive deep into the challenges and opportunities shaping the talent landscape today. Let's get started.
Hey, everybody, welcome to another edition of Totally Talent on HR.com. I am your host, Mike Wood, and I am here live at I Am Phenom, where day one, I'm talking to Grant Clifton. Grant, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So, Grant, tell me a little bit about yourself. What do you do and where are you from?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Houston, Texas, and I used to work at a company called ExxonMobil down in Houston. And, I've been outdoors. My wife and I have absolutely loved the outdoors, world-class skiing, fly fishing, and we decided to make the career move for our family to go to the mountains. And so we actually live in Fort Collins, Colorado, but I work in Cheyenne, Wyoming. And over in Cheyenne, I'm over recruiting. I'm the HR manager for recruiting, compensation, analytics, and culture. So it's a really exciting time for Cheyenne.
So tell me, so you work for the Cheyenne healthcare system, and you're rural, like as rural as it can be. What are the problems that you face in terms of hiring?
Yeah, it's a great question. So, coming from a big city where applicant volume, you post a job and you get 500, 200 applications for one single job. When I came to Cheyenne, it was almost the exact opposite. And so our applicant volume was very limited. So one of our biggest challenges is how do you then meet the needs of our patients and our community for healthcare, but then at the same time, there's not that labor pool to pull from.
Yeah.
And so it's a really interesting challenge for us in Cheyenne and rural healthcare.
So tell me about approaching Phenom for help with this, and kind of like what kind of attracted you to Phenom and what they do.
Yeah. So one of the things that we really gravitated towards was Phenom is when you first look at Phenom, you think of the interview scheduling, you think of the data, you think of all the bells and whistles. Our problem for what we were trying to solve was how do we increase the quality of hire for our community when we don't have a large pool to pull from? And so for us, what Phenom brings our community and our organization is it takes our small labor pool and it uses technology to then expand it. And so being able to expand it through people visiting our career sites and using cookies and all these things, it levels the playing field for a small organization like ours. And it puts us on the same playing field as the Memorial Hermanns, the UC Healths. And so now it truly is, they're an industry leader. They're forward thinking on what Phenom is doing. And what allows us is whenever they're focused on looking forward, it then helps us focus more on our people, our leaders, and our community.
So tell me about, you mentioned AI. Obviously, AI is a huge buzzword this is something we're all learning and going through together. What are some of the ways that AI has been rolled out at an organization that is so rural and might be dealing with older systems?
It's been it's interesting. And so AI, I think people naturally think of AI and they think of how can it make my job easier. And in a way, what AI is at least doing for us is it's automating those manual processes. So where our teams have been spending their time at that would normally take hours to complete are now ultimately done in seconds. So we've been live with Phenom for about 2 months now, and I'll kind of just use a metric that we're seeing. So our number of our proactive outreaches was really kind of zero. Why was it zero? Because our recruiters and our teams were spending so much time on the administrative things and everything was bogged down in email. And now through the Phenom platform, we can send out hundreds, thousands of emails, applications, because our database has now been growing because people visit our career site. And so it's really exciting to not only see the AI in action through the interview scheduling, through the candidate fit scores, because we do post jobs and we do get tons of applications, but then it's helping make our jobs easier. And it's really exciting for AI in healthcare. and even connecting it to the business, it truly is, it's an evolving and growing field really fast. We're just trying to keep up.
So you mentioned a little bit before we got on camera here that people in your organization are looking to what you're doing in HR and recruiting and the new technology that you're using with Phenom, and they want to roll it out into their areas too.
Yeah.
Like how do you help teach the rest of the organization what's possible?
You you have to start with listening. Because AI is very powerful and it's great, but it's also it's only as smart as you tell it to be. And so it has to know what those problems are. And one of the things that we did, especially early on in our Phenom journey, was really diagnosing what our problems were and where the friction points were, and are. And where then we asked the question of, okay, how can we then leverage AI to help solve those friction points? And even though we're doing it in HR, other departments and divisions are looking at us saying, how are you helping us manage this? Because we're kind of creating a path in Little Cheyenne, Wyoming.
That's crazy. Yeah, I will say that I also love the outdoors. I've been to Montana before. I have friends that have been to Jackson Hole and that whole area. I want to get out there at some point. It seems like a beautiful place to live. But besides that, so let's go back on track and talk about. I wanted you said you have more people visiting your career sites,
Yep.
and are you able to personalize it per the person coming in with cookies and stuff? Can you just tell me how that all works?
Oh, it's incredible. And so our career site, we went from we designed it from the perspective of telling our story. And most people don't know about what makes Cheyenne Regional special. So we actually were around for about 160. We've been around for almost 160 years. And one of the things that we've learned is that how do we still respect our past, but then also share what makes us special? So in our career site, when you visit it, it makes it very personal, and you can add in different personalized jobs. You can interact with our chatbot named Wendy.
Wait, let's back up. What's your chatbot's name again?
Our chatbot named is Wendy, because of all the things to do. We have fly fishing, hiking, all those things. The one thing about Cheyenne is that it is really windy. And so we wanted to then bring still that personal approach to our career site. Because it's just when you go there, and I encourage everybody to check out our website, because it truly does kind of make you feel what's special. On our career site, you'll see things like fly fishing. You'll see things like horseback riding. Of course, we have Cheyenne Frontier Days, which is a huge event for Cheyenne. It's the largest outdoor rodeo.
Okay, well, no, okay. We need to talk about Frontier Days.
Yep.
What is Frontier Days?
So Frontier Days is the largest outdoor rodeo, and pretty much the whole town of Cheyenne shuts down for about 2 weeks. We wanted to tell that story on our career site. And then through the partnerships with Phenom, they then helped us understand some of the best practices. So even though they have clients that are much larger than us, they still allowed us, they still made us feel, or still allowed us to then tell our unique and special story.
So I've mentioned to my listeners before, Mrs. Wood is a recruiter for healthcare, and so I have my finger on the pulse on what's happening
Yep.
with healthcare. She's had trouble just filling spots because there hasn't been a lot of growth in the country overall over the last year in terms of jobs, but the one thing that's constant is healthcare.
Yep.
And everybody needs nurses. So like, what are some of the issues that you're dealing with now, just kind of in the overall landscape?
It starts from the very beginning. So we have a very close partnership with the University of Wyoming. So we keep a pulse on what their enrollment numbers look like. And we're even seeing some of their enrollment numbers drop.
Wow.
And so then that naturally feeds into the workforce. And so some of the things that we're seeing is how do you then leverage, how do you not just go from your normal roots, which is the University of Wyoming or our little region, how can you then attract different candidates nationwide? Because there's enough candidates in the US, it's just not in our little region. What we've done, and through the partnership with Phenom, is they've allowed us to then really leverage the technology to say, okay, maybe this person has this specific certification and skill set. They visited your website. So now there's this whole new concept of a lead. Why don't we reach out to them and simply share what makes Cheyenne special? Cost of living, great in the outdoors, all these different things that we're doing. So we're actually taking, and just, instead of just recruiting from our 50-mile radius, we're now going to bigger cities.
So are you getting a lot of people that are like kind of like relocating out to Cheyenne?
We are. So Cheyenne's really growing. And we're seeing a lot of people from the metro area start to come to Cheyenne because it's just, I think COVID changed a lot of things.
Yep.
And I'll use myself as an example. So I lived in Houston, Texas, and I was tired of, even though it said a 20-minute commute, the traffic was absolutely horrible.
No.
And so we're seeing a lot of people from the metro areas come to Cheyenne because they just want a little bit of that slower lifestyle. And what's unique about Cheyenne is that we're big enough to innovate, but small enough to feel like a family.
I mean, if I was, a young doctor and I'm looking to find a new place to live, and I'm a big fan of Yellowstone,
Yep.
and I want that whole lifestyle, it sounds pretty good. Show me that the cost of living is down. You can have more land. You can get outside and do more things rather than being in a city like Boston or Philadelphia.
That's
or
exactly
something
right.
like that. So I really do like that. What are you looking forward to in terms of like things like that you're working on this year?
Oh, so one, we just went live with Phenom. So we do want Phenom to stabilize a little bit. It's hitting on something like drip campaigns. So all of our candidates, Phenom was able to migrate everything from our old system into the new system. And now it's those candidates that have been kind of stuck in that black hole of recruiting. There is no more black hole of recruiting at Cheyenne because we have Phenom. So what it allows us to do is re-engage those candidates. So people that have worked for us maybe wanted to try some different pastures, and now we're going to start re-engaging them to try to get them to come back. And so some of the things we're looking for is just leveraging all the technology that Phenom's given us, from drip campaigns to deepening in the analytics section. So actually using those metrics, which are real time, they're fast, they're great graphics, to then help us make those better hiring decisions. And then also too, one of the things we're starting to look at is Phenom onboarding too. So this conference, you get to see the next and best class, or the next and best technology at Phenom.
Now I know, like, especially now, like, information's everywhere, and there's tons of information on what's working and what's not. Like, have you set up like certain metrics that you want to check for your team? I'm sure time to hire is obviously still going to be there because that's what everybody starts out with. But if you add that quality on there and you add in the retention, I saw in the keynote earlier today, just it's the amount of deep level dives that Phenom can do. And so I'm just amazed at it. And I look forward to learning more about it. But before I end the interview, you mentioned that you're a snowboarder.
I am a snowboarder.
And so if anyone in my listener base is going out to Wyoming or whatever, where should they go for snowboarding?
Snowy Range. So it's about an hour west of Cheyenne, Wyoming. Lift tickets are only $60.
Oh, wow.
And so you can bring your family. It's a smaller mountain. But it is absolutely incredible over there. And it's one of those things that you hear about the Breckenridges, you hear about the Vales, you hear about all the ones off 70. And whenever I moved there, I didn't realize that an hour away I had a great mountain that I can bring my family to, that we can go snowboarding all the time. We just
not going to break the bank at $60.
Exactly. And so we just need some snow. That's the number one thing. No snow this year, So Colorado and Wyoming too. We haven't got. It's been a very unique winter for us.
Wow, that's crazy. In the Boston area, we've got too much snow.
Bring it our way, please. Bring it our way.
I'm done with it. So anyway, I want to thank you. I look forward to hearing more about your hospital kind of like revamping itself and becoming more modern and attracting people into this like beautiful utopian society out in Cheyenne. I look forward to it. So thanks for joining me today.
Absolutely.
And thanks, friends, for listening.
Thanks for tuning in to the Totally Talent podcast by HR.com. We hope you find today's episode insightful and inspiring. Don't forget to explore more episodes and discover valuable resources at hr.com/podcasts, where you can listen to all of our podcasts. Until next time, keep leading with purpose and making a difference in the world of talent.